Giving former inmates in Illinois a second chance. The push for legislation to expand access to having criminal records expunged.
Plus, a man is arrested in connection with an incident at a gas station over the weekend. Police say he fired a shot at a window inside.
And a Rockford mother celebrates the lives of her lost loved ones. The ceremony honoring their memory and encouraging organ and tissue donation.
Live from WTVO 17. This is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Wendell Edwards. We thank you for being here. Tonight at 5, a push for legislation to help people who serve time get their prison records sealed.
Eyewitness News reporter Tyler Sorensen talked with a group fighting for the Clean Slate Act. Tyler, what'd you learn?
Well, Mimi, Wendell, I learned that the Clean Slate Act is to help people with records get them sealed. This act will make it, once people are eligible, they will automatically have their records sealed, streamlining the process that can take years to complete and have many barriers along the way.
Some people don't know the process, don't know how to get connected to it. And the other issue is just not with the individual, the system is problematic. So if everyone who was eligible to have their records sealed went down to the courthouses, it would take 154 years for them to actually seal all of those cases because of the backlog.
There are other Clean Slate conferences and rallies over the state the next week, including Chicago, Waukegan, and Rock Island. Wendell.
Tyler, thank you. Tonight, a woman was sentenced for her role in covering up a 2023 murder.
Brianna Brooks will spend 180 days in jail along with 2 years probation. In January, the 34-year-old pleaded guilty to destroying evidence in the case. She was in court this afternoon for her sentencing. In November of 2023, police say Brooks' fiance, Kenneth Townsend, shot and killed Kevin Harris at a party on North Alpine Road. When Brooks was interviewed about the incident, she lied to police and destroyed Townsend's phone. Townsend is charged with first-degree murder. He's due back in court on Thursday. Police accuse a man of firing a gun in a convenience store Sunday.
So police arrested 24-year-old LaShawn Washington on multiple charges Monday. Police say they were called to a Shell gas station on Kishwaukee Street Sunday morning. They learned a suspect fired a gun at a bulletproof glass at the checkout counter before taking off. Washington was identified as a suspect and arrested at his home yesterday. Police say they found 2 guns, including one reported stolen from Alabama, inside his home. Washington was booked and is in the Winnebago County Jail tonight.
March Madness has begun, but another bracket-style tournament's also underway. Makers Madness unveiled its own Sweet 16. The tournament's hosted by the Illinois Manufacturers Association. 16 products are vying for the title of Coolest Thing Made in Illinois. 2 of the finalists are made right here in the state line. Whiskey Acres Blue Popcorn Bourbon, made in DeKalb, and Aerosol Spray Cheese, made in Dakota. You can find a link to vote in the Makers Madness bracket on our website, mystateline.com.
Spring is nearly here, but the Better Business Bureau is warning warm weather can bring fresh scammers. Dennis Horton with the BBB's Rockford Regional Office warns fake home improvement workers will likely attempt to deceive homeowners, especially following this weekend's storm damage, and fake repair offers are also common. The BBB warns people to be wary and suspicious of sales tactics such as upfront fees and those handshake deals.
A Rockford mother celebrates the lives of her daughter and granddaughter, all while advocating for life-saving donations.
It's an incredible story. Today, 2 lives tragically lost, though, were honored at a local hospital. Eyewitness reporter Blake Dietz was there and joins us now live. Blake, what is this mom advocating for?
That's organ and tissue donations, Wendell. And Mimi, it was an emotional celebration for sure as friends, family, and healthcare workers gathered to raise a flag in honor of donations from 2 lives lost too soon. I sat down with the mother to learn more about the story.
Why is this your favorite photo of her?
She's just beautiful.
A bittersweet day for Ann Mormon and her family. It's the birthday of Mormon's daughter, Ashley Russell. Last November, Russell was anticipating the birth of her first child when the unthinkable happened.
We got the call from her boyfriend that she had a seizure and she was not coming out of it.
Russell, who suffered from epilepsy, underwent emergency surgery to save her and her unborn daughter. Just a few hours later, the prognosis was dire.
We came back to the hospital and we decided to let her go so she could be at peace.
Ashley Russell was just 31 years old. Her daughter, Tilly, died 10 days later.
but then it flies on again. You know, we wish it could have.
Today at UW Health Swedish American Hospital, a flag raised in honor of the two, their organs and tissues donated. It's something Mormon says was dear to Ashley's heart while she worked at OSF St. Anthony.
I'd say, Ashley, I went to one. I could not go to them. They're just, it's very difficult. But she said, the family deserved the respect and the honor, so I'm going to go. And she went to all of them. So I knew that if something happened to her like this, that is what she would want.
Mormon says in her heart, they both still live on through these donations.
There are just so many people that need not just the organs, but they are doing research with the tissue. Even one child, one family to enjoy another birthday, another celebration, another day with their family is so important. That would make, me feel better. I think my family feel better.
Leaving a legacy of a beautiful life.
Now, March 26th is Epilepsy Awareness Day, and the family is encouraging everyone to volunteer, donate, or simply wear purple in support. Now, more information on how you can help can be found in this story on our website, mystateline.com. Mimi.
All right, thanks, Blake. Hundreds are dead and many others injured following airstrikes in Gaza last night.
When we return, what Israeli leaders claim their reasons are for breaking this ceasefire with Hamas.
And tonight at 6, we introduce you to a woman passionate about preserving a Rockford treasure. Our State Line Remarkable Women series continues.
With some cloud cover, temperatures today we're able to make it into the 60s, 66. That's where we sit right now. We've got a warmer night ahead, cloudy one too, but showers and thunderstorms move in tomorrow. Looking at our severe potential and the snow that is set to move in behind. All of that coming up in the First Warn forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Mimi Murphy, Wendell Edwards, Sports Director Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Bombing, bloodshed, and death in Gaza. The ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas falling apart. Israel launching airstrikes overnight.
Killing more than 400 people and injuring over 500. That's according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Rena Roy brings us the latest.
Chief Supreme Court Justice John Roberts rebuking President Trump for calling for a federal judge's impeachment.
So the president's call came after federal judge James Boasberg gave the DOJ until noon today to answer why his ruling to stop deportation flights was ignored. DOJ lawyers partly complied. They claim no flights left after the order was issued, but when asked, refused to provide departure times. Supreme Court Chief Justice Roberts issued a rare public statement saying it's inappropriate for calling for an impeaching of a judge just because you disagree with the decision.
The two U.S. astronauts who'd been at the International Space Station for 9 months are home. Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore are back on Earth safely. Their SpaceX capsule undocked from the International Space Station around midnight. The astronauts splashed down off the Florida coast just a short time ago. Williams and Wilmore's original mission had been scheduled for just 8 days in space when they launched last June.
So glad they're back home. Finally.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Well, the weather here in the State Line's been a bit cloudy today, but we could be seeing some thunderstorms looking ahead to the rest of the week.
Chief Meteorologist Candace King will let us know what this means. Her full forecast is when we return next.
Now, your First Warn weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, there's a lot to get to in the weather department, and it all comes with some showers and thunderstorms into the day tomorrow, followed by some snow and wind early Thursday. We've got cloud cover overhead, something that has been fairly dominant throughout much of the afternoon, and that'll continue into tonight. We take a live look with our Merseyau SkyTrack camera out over downtown Rockford. That warm front now lifting just north here of northern Illinois, right close to the state line. So temperatures in the lower 60s to the north. You've got mid-upper 60s 60s and even some 70s there down to the south. So that boundary sits right near the Illinois-Wisconsin state line. That front will sink a little further south before being pulled back north during the day tomorrow. 66 for weather watcher Terry in Genoa, southerly wind at 12 miles per hour. You may notice the wind picking up a little here through sunset, but then should ease up a bit as we go through the night. We've got a fairly dynamic storm system across the Midwest developing out to our west. Tell by colder temperatures there up to the north, and that's the source for some of those snow showers to work in late tomorrow night. So let's put all of this together because there is a lot to talk about and kind of go through and dissect over the next 36 hours. So our skies should stay dry until about 3-4 o'clock tomorrow morning. We see a few spotty showers developing along that warm front. As winds in the lower levels of the atmosphere begin to pick up, we've got some scattered thunderstorms then that will develop to the northwest of us, spreading over Wisconsin and far northern Illinois. I think here north of the Highway 20 corridor. These are expected to not be severe, but they may have some hail with them as these storms will be elevated, so forming north of that warm front. Getting into the afternoon, and this is kind of where our conditional severe threat comes in for tomorrow afternoon. That front to the north of us, notice the temperature difference from Janesville to Rockford and then to Rochelle. So we can clearly see there's a boundary here. If that stays to our north, that means that low pressure system is moving into northwest Illinois. It allows some dry air to work in, which would break up some of the cloud cover and build up some instability getting close to the mid-afternoon hours. If that's the case, some scattered thunderstorms would develop ahead of that low and that advancing cold front working through northern Illinois during the late afternoon and early evening. This is where that severe threat would come to play if we were to see that scenario play out. Now, if that low moves further to the south, which a couple models actually have it passing to our south, our temperatures are not in the 60s for tomorrow, and that severe threat would be shifted a little further outside of the area, closer to Interstate 80. Regardless, I think there's going to be a fairly big temperature spread across our 13-county area from southern Wisconsin right down to southern Lee, DeKalb, and Whiteside counties. So there is going to be a temperature difference. Notice what happens then as we get into the late evening hours there as we head through Wednesday. We've got some showers and thunderstorms that'll turn into some snow showers once we get into Wednesday night. That would take place after roughly about 10-11 o'clock tomorrow night, and that'll continue into early Thursday. With that, our wind will begin to pick up as the snow comes down. So you've got winds that'll be gusting around 45 miles per hour Thursday morning, about 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Winds will then stay close to 35 to 40 miles per hour through sunrise. We clear things out then once we get into Thursday afternoon before our next system then comes in. Once we head into Thursday night and then into Friday, that'll bring another chance for some showers there once we get into Friday late afternoon and evening. So here's that risk for severe thunderstorms. That slight risk from the Storm Prediction Center has been shifted a little further north and west. So what does that mean? Well, we could see more scattered activity with that strong to severe threat there going into the afternoon and evening, especially if that low, we need that low to come into northwest Illinois. If it passes further to the south, let's say between that 88 and 80 corridor, then that threat gets shifted a little further to the south. What are our biggest risks right now? Well, I think damaging wind would be our highest threat, but with the proximity of both that low, that warm front, and that cold front, you get enough spin and turn that these kind of low-topped supercells, I'm not talking about big events, but these low-topped supercells could produce a quick tornado or two. So that is there, then followed by hail. So something to really kind of monitor and pay attention through the afternoon tomorrow. Our window for this to occur would be roughly between about 2 and 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Before then, the snow moves in by tomorrow night. 45 on Thursday. We'll stay in the 40s with our next system coming in late Sunday into Monday.
Thank you, Candace.
Scott's next with sports.
If you didn't get up early to watch the Cubs opening game this morning, you might be glad you didn't. Scott will show us what happened.
Now sports with sports director Scott Leber.
Well, the venue was great for a Cubs opening day, but the product on the field wasn't today in Tokyo. The Cubs could not deliver against the Dodgers. Now, if you were up at 5 a.m. to watch this, you probably enjoyed the atmosphere, but the action was lacking. Dodgers starter Yoshinobu Yamamoto was in control in his home country. He gets Cubs second baseman John Birdie looking at strike 3 in the second inning. In the fourth, he puts a pitch past Matt Shaw. Shaw was hitless in 4 at-bats. Then Yamamoto punches out Dansby Swanson. Yamamoto allowed only 1 run and 3 hits in 5 innings. At that point, though, the Cubs were leading, but Cubs starter Shota Imanaga had been lifted on a pitch count. Ben Brown was on when Teoscar Hernandez chopped that ball, throwing error by Birdie. They were allowed a run to score. Then Shohei Ohtani with a double here later. He would also score later in that 9th inning. Cubs go on to lose this game by the final score of 4-1. The numbers were ugly for the Cubs in this one. They managed only 3 hits. They committed 2 errors, and Cubs pitchers surrendered 8 walks. That's the one that stuck with Craig Counsell.
It's a key to this lineup is you have to be on the attack with them. Walks are they're gonna burn you eventually. 8 walks is too many, to win a baseball game.
Well, the Cubs will try it again tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. our time in Game 2. Justin Steele will pitch for the Cubs. Rookie Roki Sasaki will make his Dodgers debut. And that game will not be shown on Fox. It'll be shown on Fox Sports 1. All right, on the basketball court this morning, the Rock Valley College women lost at the NJCAA National Tournament to number 1 overall seed Kirkwood Community College, 84-75. That drops RVC into the losers bracket. It was a rough night last night in Houston for Fred Van Vliet. When he put up this jumper against the Sixers, it looked like he got clobbered. No foul was called, so Van Vliet, understandably upset, sprinted down court and then hammers O'Shea Brissett of the 76ers. Van Vliet got called for a flagrant 2 foul. That's an automatic ejection. This is the second time this season he's been ejected. The first was in November when he pointed a finger in an official's face. The IHSA is attempting to address claims that there's an unlevel playing field between private schools and public schools in sports. The IHSA has announced some changes for the next school year to try to even things out, or as IHSA officials say, make things more equitable. One change will require private/non-boundaried schools to apply annually for a waiver to have the 1.65 multiplier taken away from its enrollment. In recent years, that waiver had been automatic based on a private school's recent success in a particular sport in postseason play. There's a lot more to this, more details than time permits here, but you can find it all right now at mystateline.com. That's sports. We'll be right back.